Welcome to episode 2 of the Not to Play podcast. This week we're bringing on our first special guest in Zach Rengers, voice of the Bombers, Zach Rengers, now at Miami, Ohio. But we will get to him a little bit later. First, we will go through our quote of the week, and then we'll move to NFL recap, talk about some top performers again. We'll do our fraud watch, college football and college football rankings, and then we'll bring on Zach for some college basketball preview. So, boys, quote of the week. Who wants to go first?
You want to start it off, or I mean,
Sure.
Hall said, how great was that Drake album?
I'll tell you who's not on fraud watch this week, and it's
Yes,
definitely
sir.
not Drake. I mean, he beat the fraud allegations, but I mean, just a special album. If you know me, you know it's perfect timing. You know the title of the album. I mean, just a special album. My favorite quote out of it was, "I don't get mad, I get even." That was my quote of the week.
That's good. I think my quote out of that album is, "They say more money, more problems. Bring on the problems. Bring on the problems."
It's poetic.
Deep.
Good quotes.
Deep.
All right, I'm moving. I'm not in the Drake album, but here's my quote.
Is it okay if I grunt?
Can you give a little backstory?
Yeah, a little
on that?
backstory. If you didn't see that video of my brother Jack Ryan, he got posted in this viral mic'd up video of him pitching, and he asked is it okay if I grunt? And then right after he just yells when he pitches. So yeah, that was my quote of the week. If you know Jack, that's kind of what he does. So we can move into our NFL weekly recap. This week there was a lot of close games, really. I mean, where do you boys want to start? Bills, Jets?
Bengals are
Bills,
back.
Jets.
I'll just put that
The
out there.
Bengals are back. Bengals are back.
But no bias. Let's Bengals and Jets.
All right. So Bills, Jets. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I thought the Bills weren't even going to lose again the rest of the year. But the Jets are for real, I guess.
The Jets are real. They're completely legit.
Say what you want about Zach Wilson, but that guy will get the job done. He will. I think he needs another year. I mean, come on.
I think
He's
they
too
still have to
swaggy.
build an offense around him. but-
Listen, the way I scout players is by how swaggy they are, and Zach Wilson is certified swaggy. I mean, he's got the arm sleeve, he's rocking a visor. I mean, obviously the thing in the offseason, yeah, but I mean, he's him. He's swaggy.
That brings
He
out
is
more
him.
him in him. That brings
Yeah.
out more of him.
He's got that dog in him.
Exactly. He plays with that confidence, even though the numbers don't show it. But
I mean, granted, Josh Allen probably had the worst game of his year this year, or worst game of the year last weekend, but the Jets completely took advantage of it.
You know who else is him? Sauce. He's so good.
Yeah,
He might be rookie of the year. He's really good.
yes,
I think Tariq Woolen's just a little bit better.
I mean, who?
Yeah. But it's
No.
Sauce. Your name's Sauce.
It's Sauce,
You're
yeah.
automatically
No,
I mean,
Sauce
come
is
on,
really
and just
The rookie class has actually been
I think.
crazy.
Yeah,
this year. There's
yeah,
a
I think
lot
by
of.
next year, next year Sauce will be the number one defensive back in the league.
I think.
whoa.
I think PS2 is the best.
I think it's a really hot take, but
there's
I
a
think
there's
Sauce is
a lot
insane.
of there's a lot of good young cornerbacks
Eli Apple.
in the NFL right now. So
Him.
All right, should we move on to the Bengals? I mean,
Yeah, I
we
mean,
kind of-
might as
we kind of
well.
mentioned it.
Connor's pick of the Bengals was correct. I mean,
They're back. We
35-0
talked about it
at
last week.
halftime.
I
We
would
Gotta
talked about it
love to
last
see
week.
it.
We talked about it last week. The Bengals were going to have a hot week after having one of the worst games
Yeah.
of the year against the Browns. Joe Mixon is him. Joe Mixon is insane. 22 carries, 153 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, and 1 receiving touchdown.
Yeah, that's
He's him.
insane.
good game, but it was also against the Panthers.
Here we go.
It was coming.
I'm not sold on them. I mean, I don't. I just they're so inconsistent this year that it's just
The
it's just
Browns
weird.
barely beat the Panthers.
No, I know, but I'm just saying the Panthers right now, they're just not a great team. These
No,
last
yeah.
few weeks have been horrible.
For sure.
Panthers week 1, I mean, the Browns suck. The Browns are not a good team, but the Panthers are also just one tier worse. The Browns played bad and they still won. So the Panthers and their run defense is horrible. I think anyone could have run for that, but I'm not sold on them yet. They got to start showing a little bit more consistency for me to call them a real contender. But
Fair. Should we talk about the Seahawks? The Seahawks are
Yeah,
legit.
I got a lot of comments from my friends at school to bring this up. Is Geno Smith top 5? I mean,
Oh, that's what Matt Collins said.
It was.
right?
it's a lot. It's a lot. I've had a lot of comments. Listen,
He is on the edge
I
of
think the
5.
conversation is there.
He's like
He's not
honorable
top
mention
5.
for me. He's like honorable mention. He's right there.
He's like 7.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I'd
so.
say, yeah, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
he's
Well,
been
I mean-
balling
Not-
though.
He has. He's gross.
It's so weird. It absolutely came out of nowhere.
Is it like
And
a
he-
I thought Drew Lock was going to be the starting quarterback.
is it like a
seriously.
system thing in Seattle where like quarterbacks
I
are
mean,
just
Pete
good?
Carroll's a
Like I don't
great
even
coach.
understand. It
I
just
mean,
caught me by
Seahawks coming into the
surprise.
year were supposed to be like 32, 31.
Yeah, they
Now
were-
the NFL rankings, I think today
Yeah.
they're 10. I think.
Yeah,
Insane.
they're like top
Yeah.
10.
I mean,
Crazy.
Kenneth Walker's balling.
yeah.
That's
Kenneth
rookie of the
Walker's
year.
so he's actually really good.
Sparty.
Shoots
Sparty.
straight on.
He is a Sparty.
Dude.
Indeed.
Trying to think. Yeah, the Seahawks are back. I kind of want to talk about the Bucks Rams game. I think
That was
both
an
those
interesting
teams are
game.
terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that game was bad. I mean, Brady had a good game-winning drive, but the Rams just sucked this year. I don't know what happened. They're not that good. The Bucks looked not that good. So that game was interesting to say the least.
I think McVay's gonna retire after this year.
Ooh.
I don't
I-
think so.
I
I
saw
do.
something that like once the like core of like
Yeah, I
Aaron
saw that
Donald, Matt
too.
Stafford, for Cup, and Jalen Ramsey all leave, he's gonna retire, which I see that. He already got a ring, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of hard for them to. I don't see them just like being bad. Like the talent that they have on that team is
Yeah.
unreal. You have
Stafford
one of the
just
best defensive players of all time in Aaron Donald. That's just. I don't get it really.
I think
Yes.
Aaron Donald is a scumbag. Hate
Why
to
is
say it.
that?
He just, I mean, the thing with the Bengals in the offseason, like pulling a Myles Garrett, sorry, Mets. I mean, that was just so scummy. It's like we're in practice right now. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
And,
Hey, also-
he's always fighting guys after it's like, relax, dude.
Hey, for those
Hey.
viewing the podcast, can you like move your head so they can see your Ohio State picture of the week? I mean, it's kind of random. You move a little bit more. There it is. There it is.
Just let him see
That-
the score.
That boy Jay Fields.
Let's talk about that game, huh?
Oh, he's back. He's legit.
No, he isn't. No, he isn't.
No.
he
He's
isn't. No, he isn't.
he's a mini Lamar.
He's a way worse Lamar. Just way worse. He
I
can't
mean-
throw. He cannot throw like Lamar.
No, he can't throw, but he ran like Lamar. He actually looked really good this
He
week.
did look good. He's been looking
Yeah.
good these last few weeks. I'm not gonna lie, but
I think he's like QB1 in fantasy the last
I mean,
like
yeah,
6 weeks.
I had Dolphins -5, and I was like, why is Justin Fields driving on us every single drive? But
yeah.
he's good.
Did they?
I follow this one Twitter account, and they're not a big Ohio State advocate. So I want to read some of the things that they had to say. This guy clearly hates Ohio State. I don't know who it is,
I
but
think I know who you're
clearly-
referencing. Here.
I think I know
I-
who you're referencing too.
I don't know. But this one Ohio State goes, she's not an Ohio State fan. Her loss. I have so many things I could say, says this one person. This post is making me unbelievably angry. If you think for 1 second that not being an OSU fan is a bad thing, you need to wake up. This could easily be the worst post on Twitter. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, I
but
think
that
I
guy
saw,
hates Ohio State.
I think I saw that one.
I think
yeah.
I saw it on my feed. I don't know.
I don't know.
I forget where it's
I don't know.
from. But
Yeah.
He's
he
pretty
was
active on Twitter.
He
I
is.
don't know. Yeah, no. He's been popping up a lot of Ohio State hate. I mean, it's
He hates
crazy.
Ohio State.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
he
really
hates
weird.
it. It's really weird. And the Chargers too.
Should I throw out the account for the viewers if they want to
No,
toss it?
no,
I
no.
think they'll
no.
find it.
Okay.
They,
alright,
they can
that's fair.
find it by themselves.
That's
I
fair.
mean, should we talk about Ohio State? No, we're still talking about it.
We'll
Talk
move
about- we'll
on.
get
to
there.
Ohio
Let's move
State
on to
later.
Ohio State later. Yeah.
Later,
we'll
later.
get to them later.
I want to bring up the Cowboys. I mean, not the Cowboys. Sorry, I want to talk about the Lions and the Packers this weekend. That was a
Oh,
crazy game too.
Rodgers needs to go.
Rodgers
I
is done.
said it was time. I said it was time last week.
See, the Brewers have won more games since the start of October than the Packers have. That's just crazy.
That's
That's a crazy stat. It's a crazy stat.
Brewers didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I know. That's wild. That's like
It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad that we're seeing this happen to A-Rod because he is a generational quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's just sad to see.
Well, it's just hard because like it's kind of happening to Brady. Like Brady should have left when he retired. He should never have came back. Like that was a huge mistake. I mean,
He already
he's-
lost his family over it.
yeah,
so.
he got his wife divorced him. He's not playing well. I mean, they are leading the NFC South, but like they're not gonna make a run. His last year could have been on a high note, and now it's gonna be damn near maybe a first round exit. You don't know. Should have left. And A-Rod, I mean, he shouldn't have retired last year, but I think at the end of this year, he should definitely consider it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Brady's 1-0 since the divorce, so
Yeah,
he
he
could
needs
just be
that.
getting
fine.
He's not letting Giselle affect him. Not letting her.
I'm
He's
telling you,
locked.
the Drake album is doing wonders to a lot of people out there, and I think Tom Brady was one of them.
that boy Drizzy and Tom Brady, they're boys.
They
They're
could
back.
be.
I would be shocked. I mean, Drake was mentioning Robert Kraft.
That was
He did.
That was a crazy. That was a crazy lyric.
was
Speaking on
crazy.
Tom Brady, though, I saw this one stat that the Bucks, like Mets mentioned, they're in first in their division, but the Patriots are in last and have a better record than the Bucks.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was wild.
because the AFC. I mean, it's a pretty good division this year. The Jets look really good. The Bills are good. The Dolphins are like division's really really good. There's a lot of good divisions this year.
I think it also speaks magnitudes on how bad the NFC is this year.
It's real. Yeah. I think there's only like 2 or 3 contenders, and the rest are they're just there. I think the winners come out the AFC for sure.
Hey, another game we should talk about this weekend was Titans Chiefs Sunday Night Football. It was a crazy ending.
Is there a
But you want to start off?
Is there a quarterback controversy stirring up in Tennessee? Because if Tannehill's playing, I don't think that game's tight.
Dude,
I don't know. I don't think
Malik
Malik
Willis
Willis is
did
really
not
good, though.
play well.
He did not. He really didn't play that
It was
well.
just the defense came to play, and they have
Yeah,
Derrick
I mean
Henry.
the team's playing behind them, so I
The
don't think that
Titans
team,
also, their offense only revolves around Derrick Henry. They have no wide receivers at all. So
That's
Yeah,
pretty-
they actually have no weapons at all. Like, do you see
Yeah,
AJ Brown was tweeting during the game, like no one's getting open,
Yeah.
making fun of him?
Yeah.
Dang,
We got Austin Hooper, and that's basically it.
he's not really even a
No,
weapon.
he's not. That's what I'm saying. They got Nick
Yeah.
Westbrook, Keen, and then
I also don't think Malik Willis like fits their style of offense though.
I think
You know what I'm
I think they can build around him for sure. Like if he shows hot spots, like same thing with the Ravens. Like the Ravens when they got Lamar and they had a few games and they're like, all right, this is our guy, and then they built their offense all around him and it's worked out. So I think I could see that with the Titans.
For sure.
Yeah.
What other games should we mention for this week? I mean, every game was crazy. It was like a
let's,
crazy
let's,
weekend
let's
of
talk,
football.
let's talk about Mets' lock of the week. Colts, Patriots. I mean, if I was a gambling man,
Colts-
what are we doing betting the Colts?
I told you my lock was gonna be Patriots, because Belichick does not lose to rookie quarterbacks.
I knew the Colts weren't going to win, but the Colts, they're a hard team to like bet on because you don't know what they're going to get. They beat the Chiefs and then they lose the Patriots by 23. Like they're such a weird team. And I get Sam Ehlinger's not that good, but like he's better than Matt Ryan, like maybe. And I was thinking maybe he plays well, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I just thought they were going to cover, but obviously they didn't.
Thing is, Mets is like, we were talking about, like, you don't know what you're getting out of Sam Ehlinger, but like there is no excitement around Sam Ehlinger as a quarterback. Like if it's Joe
I don't know
Burrow,
about
if it's
that.
like Joe Burrow
Dude, Sam
or like an
I don't-
exciting rookie, like yeah, maybe, but like
I don't
what
know.
has Ehlinger like done? He wasn't even like he was okay in college.
He
He was
He
all right
literally-
at Texas.
He's
he
back.
literally
That's all you
he
gotta
literally
say.
said we're back and then
Yeah.
did nothing. Like
Yeah,
Speaking
he's
of
just
we're
mid.
back. We're back is coming on later
Yeah, he
today.
is. You're right.
He's coming on later today. Zachary.
oh no,
I can't wait for that.
Uh-oh.
That'll be exciting.
I'm gonna
The
poke the
man-
bear.
The man
All right. I think
himself.
the last game we should talk about before we move on from NFL is the Vikings Commanders. Because Halstead is a very big fan of Taylor Heineke. You want to start off talking about that?
I thought he played okay. I mean, the most Taylor Heineke touchdown pass to Curtis Samuel, just
Yeah.
triple coverage. Ref gets knocked over. I'm pretty sure Curtis Samuel was down to 5, but they just didn't overturn it. Just an electric game out of just the most classic Heineke game. Just keep it competitive and cover the spread.
We think the Vikings are a true title contender.
No,
They
Kirk Cousins.
snuck out a win
I
against
think
the
so.
Commanders.
It's their first test. I guess they played the Eagles, but their
And got
first
wiped.
true test is this week. They play the Bills at home, but Josh Allen could be out, so that game
That's gonna be my lock of the
I
week.
feel like the Vikings are gonna beat the Bills, and then everyone's gonna overhype the Vikings so much, and then they're just gonna lose second round.
Kirk Thuggins.
That video is
What
so
a video.
funny.
What a
Kirk
video.
Oh my god.
Changed
Dude,
my
Kirk
opinions
Cousins
about
has-
Kirk.
Kirk's got some crazy like social media like moments from out his career.
He
Yeah,
does.
he's a funny dude. Same thing with like
Yes.
Justin Tucker. I love those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Racks on racks, smoking that
Smoking that.
six pack.
Kirk Cousins was low key more ripped than I thought he would be.
Yeah,
though.
he's
100% agree. 100% agree.
I thought he would be ripping a little dad bod at his age now,
Yeah.
dude.
He's got to show that off. He wears like the baggy jersey. He's got like the sleeves. Like he's got to show.
He has no
if
drip.
that's me, I'm like dripping
Yeah.
out. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
girls would be like hit me up. Like
Yeah.
I don't really know. But yeah,
Kirk should rock a little ice on the field too at this point.
he's
Honestly.
got to. He needs something.
Jay Jettas would get him. Do you see what he was wearing
Look at
pregame?
him,
That
right?
was
Those
that was
goggles.
heinous.
Yeah, that
Spy
was-
Kids
goggles?
goggles?
that was a miss. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, dude, I think that looked kind of hard.
No, it was. No,
That's
it
the
wasn't.
most. That's the most
No,
Mets
it
take
wasn't.
ever.
Like, bro wants to be different so bad. Like,
He is different, dude.
That's the
he's-
most Mets take ever. That went hard.
They are kind of like I
That's
think
just probably on Amazon right now looking up. The
Yeah,
news.
I
Like,
think I honestly couldn't pull that off. But if you're Justin Jefferson, like who the fuck cares? Like just do what you want. So,
Justin Jefferson thought that those goggles were going to be like what Joe Burrow did when he rocked the Cartiers. He
dude,
thought
they
people
literally were
gonna
Cartier.
rocking those.
Everyone was thinking that's like the most. That's like the first person ever to wear Cartier. Like
Oh, I got mine right here. Can I put them on.
Oh, buddy.
I think they're in here. All right, I'll have to check. Give me a sec.
Mets, give me your
What?
bottom three. Give me your worst Joe Burrow nickname. Like, what's the one you hate the most?
the one that I hate most was like at its peak when that dude on TikTok was like Joe. Brr. I hate that.
You're gonna like that?
Rolls the R's, I hate it. Or even like Joe Shiesty. Like I don't know.
What's your
You
favorite?
got a
one,
lot of
Mets?
nicknames.
You gotta have a favorite one then if you're.
I don't have. I mean, like
These are tough. Do I look like Joe
They're
Burrow?
huge.
Oh,
yeah,
and
those are
I forgot to
Monda.
show you my shirt.
That's dirty. That's
They're
dirty.
in the cigar.
All right, Halstead, what's your
I'm taking
favorite
these
Joe
off.
Burrow nickname?
Yeah,
then,
what's
if
your-
we're speaking on the king?
Yeah, it's Joe Shiesty.
Classic.
Yeah.
I love Joe Shiesty.
Mine's probably Joe Cool. I love how he's just cool.
if I had to go, I'd probably be that one. I think that's like just like a.
Yeah, it's a safe,
Nickname.
Yeah.
safe bar.
He's
Tom,
definitely.
you got a lock on that?
I'd probably say Joe Shiesty's probably the best.
Yeah.
Fair.
All right, should we move on to that? College
College.
football this weekend.
Yeah, let's
Crazy
go on.
weekend in
Let's
college.
go on.
Crazy weekend.
Or should we do
Upset weekend.
Should we do top performers first? Should we squeeze
Yeah.
that in real fast? So Cranston mentioned Joe Mix first, 5 touchdowns, 55.1 fantasy points. That's
8th of all
insane.
time.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. All right. And we mentioned Justin Fields too. He had 123 yards passing, so not that good there, but 3 passing touchdowns, and then 178 rushing yards with 1 touchdown and 42.72 fantasy points. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, 10
Still lost,
receptions. Yeah, he did lose, but Devontae Adams, 10 receptions, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, 36 fantasy points. And then last one, mentioned him too. Kenneth Walker, 26 rushes, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. And he has the most fourth quarter touchdowns in the NFL with 6 this year. And he's
I
played
think-
like half the season.
Yeah, that's
Walker
yeah,
might be on this list for the rest of the year. Like his usage in the offense is crazy, and he's so good that I could see him putting up 25 every week casually.
I
Yeah,
don't
he-
understand how he slipped so like low in the draft.
It's
Yeah,
good.
he really did.
Yeah, I don't know. And then
Bad.
why did they not play him earlier? Like I get Rashad Penny's like good, but like if I don't know, unless this came out of nowhere and he like didn't play that well in practice or something, he's just playing really well. And it's weird that he hasn't played until like week 7.
Tom, you know what's funny is I think on ESPN it has this college as Wake, not Sparty.
I did see something about that.
That's
Because he
crazy.
transferred from Wake, but I don't know,
Yeah,
it's
so he doesn't consider himself a Sparty.
He didn't go crazy till Sparty.
He did go crazy at Michigan State. That was
Yeah,
unreal.
I gotta say the one game I went to one college football game last year. It was Ohio State, Michigan State at the shoe. I was so excited. Kenneth Walker's like the talk of college football, and he just like didn't play. He was hurt, and the game was over at the end of the first quarter. I think it was 35-0. Shout out Michael Donovan, the boy.
Shout out Donna.
Hey, you
Future
never
Future
know.
guess.
I
Future
don't
guess.
know. I don't know.
We'll keep that quiet. We'll keep that quiet.
Yeah.
I gotta say he was mad. He watched the episode, he liked it, but the gum chewing out of me was just unbelievable. And I want to apologize to the listeners and watchers. It was not my best performance. It was
Hey,
just
it's a rookie mistake. Rookie mistake.
Hey,
sickening.
speaking of him, LeBron 2-8 right now.
it's not his
Dude's a
fault.
clown.
Not his fault.
Dude's
Not
a
his fault.
clown.
No.
Not his fault. Not his fault. Not his fault.
Let go.
LeBron's a clown.
No,
LeBron-
liar.
Jordan.
Liar. Yeah, dude. Those
Those are
memes
liar.
are actually the funniest thing ever.
No, yeah. When we get him on, that will be
Yeah.
must watch TV.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be must watch TV.
All right, should we speak on some frauds of the NFL?
Yeah,
before we
fraud
move on?
watch. Halstead,
Halstead, who's your
start us
fraud?
off.
I mean, I think we kind of know who it is already. I mean, the 40-point favorites going into Evanston and being, what was it? I think it was tied at half.
7-7.
Talk about the weather all you want. Talk about it all you want. I know it was windy. I know it was, but you want to say you have the best offense. Okay, that includes running, not just passing. That's running too. You can throw screen pass. You can do whatever. And you don't score a touchdown to what? Late in the second quarter? And it wasn't even like the Northwestern fans were coming out and being hostile. Did you see? I saw a clip on
There were
Twitter.
more Ohio State fans there.
It was a
There were
sea of
more
red.
Ohio State
It
fans
was a
there,
sea of red. Just sea of red. And pregame warmups, there's no one there. You go to any other Big Ten school, there's people there. They're loud. They're excited. Like, it was empty. It was eerily quiet. And you're going to tell me they're going to win by 14 to Northwestern, who hasn't won a game in America this year? I mean, and you want to tell me that's the best team in the nation?
You can't.
Wow.
You can't.
While
Second
Georgia
best team.
is wiping Tennessee. Georgia is wiping the best team in the nation. Metz was there. He can speak on that.
Yeah,
I mean,
Tennessee is. I think they're good. I just don't think like Hendon Hooker's good, but like once they play elite defenses like Ohio State, I mean they have a good defense, but if Tennessee plays Ohio State, I think Ohio State honestly wins. Like I'm going to be honest, I think they win. But like Tennessee's good, but they're not title contenders. Like
Georgia's just different.
Georgia's
think
so much different.
I think Georgia's in a tier of their own.
Georgia's
They
a
are.
juggernaut.
By themselves.
It's really
And
not even close.
Stetson Bennett shut me up. I said that last week. I said their offense was not all that. They completely were wrong.
He had a lot of
Shout out
very
that.
good throws.
Shout out that.
Yeah, was it 600 phone calls from Tennessee fans
Yeah,
because
that's
phone number got
crazy.
ringed, and then
I will say I never realized this, but like when I was down there, I didn't go to the game, but I was like downtown and like there was a lot of Tennessee fans. They're very hostile. Like
Tennessee?
very hostile. Like I'm not a Georgia fan, I'm not a Tennessee fan, but I visited my friends that go to Georgia, so I was wearing a Georgia shirt. And I wasn't saying a thing the whole game. Whenever Georgia scored, I wasn't saying a thing. And then as soon as Tennessee scores, I get like liquids thrown on me. Like everyone's just going crazy.
What
Like
the hell?
I was in a
That's
seat,
SEC football.
and I was like, "What is
It's
going
different down
on?"
there.
And I didn't, but like they were like chirping me. I'm like, I didn't say a word, but like I was,
Mets was definitely barking. Mets was definitely.
no, I was
getting
yeah,
a little-
later at night. I mean, I'm obviously a Browns fan. Like I always bark, but I mixed in a few barks here and there for sure.
Chirping bot.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot of fun.
How's
I'm
the
glad
atmosphere
they
down there?
won because it wouldn't have been as fun if they lost. But yeah, it was a kind of a shitty game, to be honest. Like wasn't that fun to watch, but the atmosphere was electric.
Yeah,
That-
I'm telling you, I'm hot. Tail my
Jesse-
picks right now. I'm hot.
Georgia's
I'm
really
hot.
good.
famous last words. I'm hot.
Yeah.
Ride the
All right,
hot
my-
hand.
My fraud. I said it last week. I think Clemson's such a fraud. We saw it this weekend. I don't think I also just don't like Clemson anymore at all. I was gonna go to Clemson. They were hating on the boy. I don't like Clemson at all. I think they're frauds. Dabo Swinney needs to retire.
Nah, it's not Dabo. It's DJ Ukulele, dude.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Dabo. The whole
I don't
thing of
like
him,
Dabo.
like he runs out on the
Mm.
field first before the players. Like That's a little.
Not him.
I don't
He,
know.
he makes it all about himself.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
I don't like that.
I think he's a
Also-
really good coach, though. Like, I mean,
He's a good coach. I mean, he's got
Yeah.
national titles.
yeah.
I
Are you
think
talking
he-
about the video of him
club-
sprinting?
Yeah,
Halstead?
Yeah,
yeah.
That video's comedy, dude.
Next
It's-
year,
it
they're
is
going to be
funny.
really good. Mark my words. Cade Klubnik is legit.
that dude's a
No, I
dog.
think we'll
Yeah.
be bringing him up in fraud watch next year.
Really?
Ooh.
Why?
That's a prediction.
That's a very early take.
Very
Why
early fraud alert.
Why do you think Cade Klubnik's going to be a fraud?
It's just that guy's not swaggy. That guy doesn't bring the
I think-
confidence.
I don't know. He's a
He kinda
very
looked
good player.
swaggy when he
A lot
was
of
in-
interviews.
But then he takes off his helmet. You're like, ooh. And I'm not saying I'm a good looking guy by any means, but that guy, me and him, I think could relate. And he's got football for him, so he gets all the girls. So
Where he did.
yeah. Another
Is
fraud.
Halstead- Is
No
Halstead on
fraud.
fraud watch?
Yeah, I'm putting myself in fraud watch. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Every week I just come back. I'm like, sending like, man, I am just.
What
The
are we
women
doing?
hate me.
What are we doing?
They don't even look at me. And one looks at me like other night I had a girl come up to me. She was like, "Oh, do you like rap music?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I love rap music." Then she's like, "Rap." She's like, I'm like, I just froze and she just laughed. I'm like, fair.
Fuck.
It's fair.
Bro,
It's
you
fair.
should have brought
Hey, her loss.
out
her
some of that
loss.
six guy, that little six guy.
No.
Lost,
The
they're
first
lost.
one that came to my mind when she put the mic to my hand was God's Plan, and I was not about to like just
Yeah,
start singing.
yeah,
I was
I know,
not
just
about.
zip
That
it.
might be worse if you just.
Yeah,
said
no,
just-
that's maybe the worst
Bro.
one to do. Maybe.
Yeah.
I
What's
can't.
what is the worst song if a girl comes up to tell you to rap? What's the one
I
song
gotta
you're not
say
doing?
God's Plan.
God's
really.
Plan might be
You
number
said-
one.
it's
It might
it's
be
top
number one.
5.
Maybe like Hotline Bling's up there too.
Hotline Bling's pretty bad.
Drake has a lot of cringy songs.
Oh yeah.
He does,
Alright.
but that's what
I want
makes
to talk,
Drake.
I want to
This-
talk about LSU
my-
real quick, though. LSU is very good, I think. Brian
can
Kelly is a
sneak
good
in.
coach.
They could sneak in.
They could.
I don't think they will because they lost to Florida State earlier in the year. If they win the SEC, yeah.
If they win out, I think they win out.
They're
Yeah.
in. If they win out, they're in.
But they're gonna have to play Georgia. They're not gonna win.
They're not going to beat Georgia. It's
But-
all going to sort itself out.
Yeah, there could be a lot of different options. like-
I think TCU is going to lose. I don't know when. I do think TCU is going to lose. And then it's going to be in Georgia's just the clear one. And then winner of Ohio State, Michigan 2. And then it'll sort itself out for 3
Yeah.
and 4.
Could Oregon
Pac-12,
sneak in?
yeah, they might.
could.
The
Oh,
winner of the Pac-12 will probably sneak in as 4 because I think TCU is going to lose.
TCU could lose this weekend to Texas.
Yeah. And then
I can see that.
Tennessee might get in. So
That's
Tennessee-
great. I think the main thing is the Ohio State Michigan game. That's going to
Yeah.
control a lot what happens.
That's the game of my life. That will be the game of my life. I don't
Will
think
we
I've
all be
ever-
up in Ohio State that weekend?
I'm going.
I'm not.
The thing is, if I'm there, I might be repping blue underneath my
Oh,
fraudulent Ohio State shirt.
Oh.
I mean, no,
Oh.
what it'll be is I wear like Ohio State shirt over my Michigan sweatshirt,
Gotcha.
just so I don't get jumped because we're in Columbus.
And then if Michigan wins, are you gonna?
I'm
Take
not
it
gonna
off.
rip it off because that's how you really get jumped in Columbus. But it'll probably be more like Michigan touchdown will be in the corner, like because I'll be hammering money line. Trust me on that.
What's the
All right.
spread for that game? Is it out
We
yet?
said- we talked about this last week. It's 10.5.
Oh yeah, we did.
Is it still that, or has it changed at all?
I haven't.
I'm
Probably won't
I'm
change.
looking it up
until
right
you get
now.
closer.
Bucks,
I
dude.
can't. It'll
Ohio
probably go.
State's going to be on upset watch this weekend against my Indiana Hoosiers.
Oh, give me a.
Indiana's
break,
hot.
man.
Indiana's hot.
Dude, the
Yeah.
line is
It-
40.
it's 7.
It was 40
changed,
last week, Mets.
It
Fair.
changed.
For a win.
Fair.
OSU Michigan's at 7 now. Interesting.
Uh-oh.
You knew
Hey,
it
that's
was
what-
wrong.
I think it'll still be closer than that, but Ohio State's gonna win. It really just depends on the weather. Like if it's rainy, I think Michigan's probably gonna win.
Didn't it snow last year for that game?
It did.
Yeah.
Here's
That
my
was just a-
prediction for the game. Here's my prediction for the game. CJ Stroud's gonna have such a mid game. He'll go like 20 for like 35 with like 200 yards, a touchdown or 2, and then a pick. But I'm telling you, Blake Corum will have his Heisman moment in the shoe. He's gonna rush for over 200 yards. He'll have a Kenneth Walker day against
Yeah.
Michigan, like 5 tutties. Like he's going to go insane. He'll hit the little Heisman pose, pay respects to who was it? Was that-
Real talk. Why is
Desmond Howard.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
why is CJ Stroud even in the Heisman like talk? Honest, like there's no like Bo Nix and Drake May are both
Drake
having-
May. Drake
Drake
May.
May.
Guys
Oh my
having a
God.
Who does Drake May play against?
It doesn't
Who does
matter.
Stroud? Like, come
Northwestern.
on. Yeah, Northwest. He went what? 10 of 26. Oh, the weather. Like, shut up.
The only
Sickening.
they played Notre Dame, which is
That's
Notre
not
Dame's
even
my
that
choice.
good of a
I know,
win.
I know. They play Michigan later, like in between
Penn
them,
State.
Big Ten is
He
pretty
played
good.
well against Penn. He played pretty well against Penn State.
Yeah, he didn't play bad. by
He didn't
any
play
means.
great though. He didn't
No, he
stand
didn't.
out
You
against.
didn't look,
Ohio
that's
State.
not a Heisman winner.
Yeah.
That's
Blake
not
Corum's my new Heisman. Blake Corum's a beast.
It really just depends on who wins that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Who do we think are the
yes.
main Heisman contenders as of now?
I think Hendon Hooker's still up there.
I think he is too.
Yeah, he probably is. Right now, I would probably say Blake Corum, Hooker, Stroud.
Bo Nix.
I don't.
I don't
Yeah,
think
probably Bo
Caleb. I don't
Nix.
think Caleb Williams is.
No,
No.
I think Bryce Young's out of it, even though he's probably the best quarterback in the college football. right
Alabama
now.
wasted Bryce Young.
Yeah,
They
The ring.
did.
Him and Will Anderson. They're
Michael
too good not to have a
Donovan.
ring.
Michael Donovan could sneak in there.
I can
Probably.
see-
You never know.
I can see
You
it.
never know. What are we getting Rang on? Let me poke the bear.
All right, well, let's do our rankings first, and then we'll get them on.
There's not really that much debate. Everyone's gonna have Georgia 1, Michigan, Ohio State 2, probably Ohio State 2. Me personally, it's gonna be Michigan.
I think so too.
Yeah. And then everyone agree on what? TCU 4.
TCU 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then what? Tennessee 5.
I think
I had
6 is
Tennessee.
where
I
everyone's
had
gonna.
I had Tennessee 5.
I had Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
I had
Probably-
Tennessee 4. I think Tennessee's better than
Ooh.
TCU, but I don't know. We'll see.
The record, the undefeated.
The
fact that
undefeated
TCU
just speaks
undefeated stands
volumes,
out.
but-
Yeah,
And
It
you got to
does.
put LSU at 6.
I did.
I had
yeah.
Oregon at 6.
Uh-oh. Here he
Uh-oh.
comes. Ladies and gentlemen, let the show begin. Uh-oh.
Here he is.
Mr.
Little
Rengers.
introduction
Ladies and
to
gentlemen,
our first special guest, the man himself, Zach Rengers. How you doing,
Dang.
Zach?
what's up, Zach?
What's up, fellas?
How
Glad
we
to be on.
Dang.
It's good to
glad
hear
to
that
have you.
voice. It's good to
Rang,
hear
let
that
me
voice.
start out with this question. You are named Reds GM. What is the first move you're making
Right now,
right now?
um,
How much are you offering Aaron Judge?
well, we can't sign Aaron Judge. We don't have the cap for that. But so first move I'm making, I'm sending up. We got to start the year with some of these guys. Got to move up in the minor league system. I think the goal should be to have. Pretty much Novelli needs to be by AAA by the end of the year. We need to get
Agreed.
Arroyo up to at least AA. We need to get Encarnacion Strand. He needs to be up too. And then
What
we keep moving up just different guys. I don't really think you're contending this year if you're the Reds,
No.
but
Whoa,
I
whoa,
think-
whoa.
That word should not be associated with the
No,
Reds
no,
right
no,
now.
no, no, no. Tell me, what position is Ellie De La Cruz playing on opening day?
Good.
I'm putting him in center field.
Whoa.
I'm opening up the shortstop position. He's a menace with a bat. He's got hits for power from both sides. Got a pretty good arm. I'm putting him in center field. He brings some size. I'm letting Arroyo take shortstop, and then I'm moving Novelli over to third.
Interesting.
Letting it
Zang,
rip
who's-
fast, Rang.
seriously, who's your
Who's ready
early
for that
World
one?
Series contender next year, Zach?
World Series
Early World
contender.
Series contenders.
I mean, it's hard to. I as much as I don't want it to be true, I have a feeling that the Dodgers are going to spend a lot of money in the offseason. It's hard to contend with that. I think the Phillies are going to be hungry. I don't see why they can't go out because obviously we saw it. It was their bullpen that really messed them up in the World Series. I think they got to go out, get a couple of guys off, whether it's a trade or if they're just looking on free agency, they got to sign some arms to put in the bullpen, but they don't really have anything glaring to me as to why they can't go right back this year. So I'd honestly say the Dodgers or the Phillies right now.
I think you're forgetting the Braves. The Braves, if
Yeah.
they get DeGrom, I mean,
That is true. Yeah. DeGrom's, I think a lot of what happens next year hangs in the balance of where DeGrom and Judge sign. Because my thought is that obviously I think it's well known that the Dodgers are going to offer Judge just about as much as he wants. So if he decides to sign with them, I think that really mixes things up. And I think you're right with DeGrom too, is that he just brings now the big asterisk with DeGrom is, can he stay healthy? Obviously the guy's wicked talented, best pitcher on the planet, but we haven't seen him complete a full season in God knows how many years at this point. So I think if he can stay healthy, and depending on where he signs, especially if he ends up with the Braves, I think they're more than in the mix as well.
All right, Rang, real important question. How fraudulent is Xavier basketball this year?
He's
I
getting ready.
mean,
Oh,
because I'm telling
All
you, the best team in
Come on,
Ohio is
Rangers.
Dayton. Best team in Ohio is
Oh,
Dayton.
no.
Yeah,
Ohio State is.
Mm,
Ohio State
that's a hot
Oh,
take.
okay, no,
That's a
no.
really hot
Ohio
take.
State's third.
It's either the Muskies or the Flyers, but
Yes.
and who's preseason ranked? Let's hear that
it's
now.
it's
It is the
Flyers.
Flyers. It is the
All right,
Flyers.
but we gotta look at this from the ranking standpoint. Xavier's got a transfer guard that hasn't played in a top 5 conference yet. Boom he showed that he can be good against Morgan State.
He's good. He's really
He's good. Now I'm not going to get too hyped about playing a team that's got 1/4 of the spending, probably closer to 1/6 of the spending on basketball that the Muskies do. Boom looks good. I think what really is going to decide it is the freshman play. Obviously, you're going to get great performances from guys like Kunkel, Fremantle, Nunji. I think those 3 are pretty much a given. And then whether Boom shows up in big games, and then it's going to fall in the hands of Kraft and Claude. And if they can show up in Big East games, I don't see why this team can't make a run in the tournament. I think for this team, honestly, the goal should really be to win a Big East title. It's been a while since they've done that. I think they've got the talent to do it. I'll be completely upfront. I'm not sold on Creighton. Obviously, I get that they returned all 5 starters, but when starters are losing a 20-point lead to a less than impressive Xavier team last year, I find a hard time buying stock in that team like everyone else is putting in them. But I think the Big East is going to be really interesting this year. And I think depending on how those freshmen and new guys show up in those Big East games will be decided on who's actually going to show up to be the best team in Ohio. Because obviously Dayton's going to be pedal to the metal all year. They're thinking deep tournament run. And I think Xavier's got the same thing on their mind. So I think it's really a great competition this year. I hope in future years, Sean Miller can rekindle that rivalry. I haven't heard anything that he's wanting to do so right now, but I think it'd be great for the state of Ohio just to have that rivalry go back and forth. I mean, obviously, if you watch some of those games back in the A10 way back when, those were some of the most fierce rivalry games. I mean, similar to the crosstown shootout. I mean, those games were awesome. And I think it only helps both programs to get that rivalry going again.
I agree, Rangers. That was a special rivalry. It's one that's forgotten about. You know, two small private schools, Catholic schools, just playing ball, getting after it. Now, let me ask you this, Rangers. I'm going to move on to a very different subject. How many conies are you taking down in one sitting?
All right. So CK and TR have heard this multiple times. It was kind of a topic of debate for baseball. There was one time on JV baseball 2 years ago where I think I had either thrown in a game or played something, and I got 8 at one time. But
are we doing mustard and onions, or
all the way?
Okay, so we do have conies. We're not doing any of the chili cheese sandwich stuff.
No, conies.
Oh, okay,
conies
dogs in. Okay, this is a real sandwich.
Yeah,
this is a real dog.
Now I'm not gonna hate on chili cheese sandwiches. My dad gets them. I like them, but
I get them.
Yeah, if I'm talking this conversation, it's got to be dogs in. I think confidently, if I'm like really hungry, I can probably get 10, but that'd be pushing it. That'd be really pushing it.
Double-digit Rangers.
Whoa!
I'm gonna keep up. I think I could keep up with Rangers for a very.
That's even crazy.
Rangers knows, dude.
No, Mets, dude. You could not get between Mets and his food after ball games last year. That dude could hold his own.
I'll devour 3 Cholitos in like maybe 2.5 minutes.
Okay,
Maybe.
3
Yeah.
Cholitos converts into what? Maybe
No, with
five
spaghetti.
cones.
No, with
5,
spaghetti.
6.
With spaghetti. Okay, so we're
Spaghetti.
making
Spaghetti, you're getting up there then. That's the
Yeah, yeah.
conversion factor goes down. a
Yeah,
little
but you're
bit.
not getting all the bread in that coney. You know, there's a lot of
Yeah.
volume to that coney.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That is true. That is true.
I'm saying I also want to switch the topic a little bit. I'm sorry it's been all over the place.
No, I love this.
I'm a big fan of your Twitter, Zang. I'm a big advocate. This is probably one of your most recent tweets that I'm a big fan of. This is coming from a few days ago. You know, when I think of all the time greatest inventions, there are a few that really stick out. You got the light bulb, the smartphone, and best of all, non-daylight savings times. I mean, who doesn't love it being pitch black outside at 6:20? Really good stuff from whoever made this. Let's talk about that, Zang. Why are you so big advocate of daylight savings times?
Well, I mean, so this is how I look at it, CK, is the way that it's been explained to me, and I've heard multiple different adaptations where this may not be true, but I heard that standard time, what we're in right now, non-daylight savings, was made for farmers so they'd have more light in the morning in these months. But I mean, I think we can get past that because we have lights that are movable now. So I just really don't like going outside after my 4:45 classes in it already being dark. It's just I don't know. I
Valid
just feel
point.
like
No,
we
that's
gotta
very fair.
keep the
That's
light
very
going.
that's a very fair point, Zang.
Agreed.
I don't understand. I mean, obviously this is the last time we have the spring forward, but last time that, or at least in Ohio, that it's going to be a thing. It's stupid. I
Yeah.
agree on that one, Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is too, if like the whole world was bought into it, that'd be great. But there are literally counties in Indiana that don't recognize
Yeah.
it. So I feel like
Yeah.
if you can't get everyone on a united front for that, that's something that just probably you should throw out the window. So that's just one of the few things that I feel very passionately about.
Tom, I know some of the things we wanted to talk about with Rangers. I think they have a few questions from the
Yeah.
viewers for you, and then also I think we wanted to get into an early Final Four predictions. We can get onto that
Ooh.
later.
All right.
But I think Tom, you want to introduce some questions for Zang?
Yeah, so we had a few Q&A from our viewers. First, we had a couple people ask this one. So, Mr. Rengers, what is the greatest game you ever called on ESPX?
All right. So as far as I understand, there's multiple adaptations of this question. So for the greatest game that I called at ESPX, I'd have to go back a few years, 2020 football season, shortened COVID season at LaSalle. Now, this was obviously, you hear that now, and LaSalle has kind of been a bottom of the barrel program. But at the time, that was back when Jabron Payne was a junior, he was lighting it up. They had guys on both sides of the ball going Power 5. And that game coming into that one was I think it was the top game in America, according to Max Preps. And that was right after St. X goes on ESPN. They lose in overtime to Brownsburg over in Indiana. And it was kind of one of those games where it felt like this would really decide the season. And I remember we come into it guns a-blazing, both teams score early, defense kind of finds their mojo, and then I can't remember whether it was the right before halftime or right after halftime, Alex Kemper gets this huge 50-50 pick. And I can still remember Owens like saying, Kemper. And then I remember we marched down the field, get a score. And then later on in the game, CK Kellum ices the game with, I think it was a 65-yard touchdown down the sideline. And I just remember like being in that game, it just felt like such an uphill battle. And both teams were in it all the way till the end. And it felt like that was going to decide the GCL, and it was going to decide how the playoffs would go with that shortened season. And that game still sticks out in my mind as probably the best game that I've ever gotten the chance to call.
Now, Rangers, I really thought you were going to say the 2021 basketball playoffs against Moeller when who was that hit that corner three to tie?
Joe Kirby.
I still got the video. Whose equipment were we using? I mean, that was just an unbelievable mic. I felt like my ears were going to explode. I was watching with headphones, unfortunately. I don't think I've ever heard anything so loud.
Yeah, so I that's why I was talking about the adaptation, because I think I got a question from Mr. Ryan. Shout out Mr. Ryan, the GOAT. saying what was my favorite game to call at ESPX, and that one takes the cake. So funny you asked that, Will. So we were at Princeton for that game. We used to pack all of our stuff in this bag, and mind you, in the basketball playoffs, you play 2 games a week. So we had been back and forth, up and down. We were at Centerville the week before and all over the place for all these neutral site games. And we get to Princeton. We get up there about an hour and a half early before the game. And we look in our bag, and our mixer, the cord to plug it in, was completely broken. So we immediately started scrambling. Luckily, Elder, EH Sports, was there, who we had kind of had a good they were pretty good friends of ours at that point. So they let us use their board, and we were unfamiliar with how to use it. So we had these settings way off. So like you said, when Joe Kirby hits that 3 in the corner and sends it to overtime, it was the mic just exploded. And I remember that was my favorite game because I think Owen and I said that game was pretty much over about 3 times before it actually was. And each time we said it, the Bombers just kept coming back. And it was just an unreal fight, just great game. So it felt like they should have won it. That for the record, that Joe Kirby 3 was an and 1 that would have won the game. I mean,
I've got it right here. For the viewers who don't know, I have the call right here.
Yeah,
here,
play
this is
it.
the corner 3. I hope it
Headphone
plays
users beware.
It sounds like someone blowing into a microphone on Xbox. That's what it really sounds like.
Yeah,
I'm trying to pull it up too, Halstead. I think I'm going to share my screen with it if it's possible.
Yeah,
I'm
go
pulling it
for
up right now. Zane, continue your conversation. I'm going to try to find this video while we're waiting.
Yeah, but I mean, that was just an unreal game. And to get to be a part of that one was something special. I remember, even though we lost, it still felt like that, because people got to remember, that's a team that had, what was it? I think it was 6 Power 5 commits.
So much talent. So much talent.
So much talent. They should have, I mean, realistically, that team should have beaten St. X by 30 points each time. But that St. X team actually handed that senior group their first ever loss at the Brisbane Family Center. I mean, Kobe Rogers, can't say enough about that guy, the Finneytown Mamba. I mean, I'm literally going to be telling my kids about what Kobe Rogers was doing in the burning gymnasium. I mean, just 20 a night easily. I mean, the guy, if he didn't want to score, he didn't have to. He'd get buckets for everyone else. I mean, that guy tearing it up at Nova Southeastern. I mean, you got Louis Simona, who's now at Thomas More Prep, probably going to go to a big school down the line. I mean, that team was really special just to be a part of. And even though we didn't win that game, I just can't really put it into words how special that game was, because you could see that the fight was there. I think everyone expected Moeller to win that game, and for X to even be in it was crazy. I see you got the clip, so I'll let it play.
Let this run. Headphone users beware, as Matt said.
Just, I mean,
no audio, thank God.
Yeah, really. But that gym was so loud. It was just unreal to be a part of. That atmosphere was something else.
And that's the funny thing is about that. That was the COVID year. So I know I wasn't there. I don't know if you guys were there.
I wasn't there.
Imagine if
I wasn't there.
That game we packed the section. It was wild. That game would have been 10 times more electric if fans. Parents. The stadium might have exploded after Joe.
Basketball at St. X was crazy. When we had a packed crowd. I remember my first game back in our senior year when we were allowed to go. I forget who we were playing, but we it was a blackout. You remember this?
Ray, because Hamilton.
And we had a packed crowd. It was electric. Great atmosphere.
Yeah. X is so well coached in basketball. Shout out Coach Nazca. I mean, those dudes come to play every single game.
Yeah.
They're a tough team.
That's the other thing too. Even though it didn't go our way, that first round matchup against Middletown, I think the score ended up being, 86-84. I mean, one of the highest high school basketball teams or high school basketball scores you'll see. Even though St. X didn't win that game was just back and forth constantly. I think Johnny hit, he hit 8 threes in that one, something like that. I mean, just got like
Yeah.
there's nothing that really compares to when St. X basketball is on. Just the crowd, just the discipline of the team. It's something else to be a part of.
I remember that game. That night we had an indoor baseball practice, and I went to go check the score of the game right after practice, and I saw it was still
remember that.
going on. So I turned it on my phone, and we had like 10 of us huddled up watching it. That game was crazy.
I remember that. That was crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Zach, I have a kind of an interesting question before we move into our Final Four predictions. I know you are I mean, obviously you're the best announcer I've ever seen at this age. If you could have like a dream job in announcing, where would that be at for you?
Yeah, so this is a really good question. Because I mean, you think about different guys in different positions. You got Jim Nance, who kind of does it all with CBS. You've got guys like Jordan Cornette, who runs the ACC network, just different guys all around. And I think, honestly, if I could pick one position to take, quote unquote, that would be perfect. It'd be Dick Vitale's spot on ESPN Hoops, just getting to cover some of the best ACC, Big 12, Big 10 matchups on ESPN on weeknights and the weekends. I mean, and then that guy gets to go and be an analyst when he wants to on Sports Center. I mean, that just seems like the perfect job. I'd love to get my hands in kind of everything with whether it be basketball, football, baseball, golf, all those different things. I'd love to be a part of, but I think if I had to pick one position, it would be with hoops for college basketball and ESPN.
I can see you in a role like that. A little
I really
rangy,
could
Dickie
too.
V.
Yeah, I could.
I could. Now that I think of Dick Vitale, I can like honestly see Rangers like
Little rumble
just
at the
get,
rim with Ray.
yeah. I can hear it. I can.
Good.
Ryan, I also got one more question for you.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you got into sports broadcasting. Tell us how you found it and like where it all started from.
Yeah, so it started. It actually was kind of a not random occurrence, but I kind of stumbled upon it. So I remember I didn't tour. I didn't go to open house for St. X after my 6th grade year. So I went 6th grade, knew I had my dad went there, so it was kind of already decided, and I never went to another one. But one of the kids that went to my grade school, Jack Demler, shout out Jack. He's at OU now, but he was the kind of the head guy, essentially like the Owen Timmerding of ESPX when I was touring. And so I talked to him, and he just kind of said like, oh, we cover these games. And I kind of had remembered it by the time I got back to St. X for my freshman year. And then all of a sudden I saw on one of the announcements that they were having an ESPX meeting. I was like, this sounds kind of fun. I'll hop in, check it out. And then eventually I talked with Mrs. Schulte and some of the guys that were running it at the time. And I got put on I think it was a freshman basketball game. I forget who we were playing. It was one of our non-conference opponents, and started there. I remember those games were rough. I barely had the rosters memorized. I was still learning everyone's name that was in our grade. And then from there, I just kind of like each time it would get a little easier. I remember I was like starting to like it more. Like I would go to Miss Schulte's office, sign up for the Moeller game, the Elder game, the Sal game, all these bigger games that I wanted to call. And then I really kind of like quote unquote hit the scene when it was sophomore year, randomly a Tuesday night game. I get a text from Owen Timmerding. Mind you, Owen and I are great friends now, but at the time I had talked to him about a couple times, and he said, Cubcast coming to town tonight. You want to call the game with me? And I was like, well, I don't really have anything else going on. I texted my mom because I didn't have my license yet. I was like, hey, can I do this game? She's like, sure, I'll pick you up. And so I called this random middle of the week Cubcast game with Owen. And I remember him saying something to me. It's like, man, you're all right at this. I kind of like working with you. And then later on that year, I got to call the Moeller game where we almost won at home. That one went down to like free throws at the end. And that was the home game. And I just remember after that, Owen was talking to me extensively about getting into doing football the next year with junior year and all that. And then ever since, it's just been a roller coaster to be a part of. It's been awesome now.
Good.
I mean, I
Love to
seriously
hear it.
can say that you have been the best announcer I've ever seen at
Yeah.
this age. My parents always say it to me. I feel like all of us would
Yeah.
completely agree on that
We agree.
statement. So.
Appreciate
sure.
that, fellas.
Now, Rang, if I was a gambling man, I would be talking about the under in the Chiefs-Jags game. I mean, I can't think of a more free bet in my life. Now,
Yeah.
tell me I'm wrong.
No, I have to agree. I used to be in the camp that Chiefs games that only go over until I've got burned on that strategy a couple times. So yeah, let's do it. Let's go under in that game. I don't think the Jags have a good enough offense. Obviously, they got pieces. ETN's all right. You've got Trevor Lawrence getting it done in some way. Christian Kirk way overpaid, but he's still all right. But yeah, I just don't think they have the pieces. Kansas City looks rough at times this year. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, I think people are kind of realizing that he's not God's gift to football and that he can, in fact, make mistakes every once in a while. And I think he's making it really hard on Kelsey this year. He's had some really bad ball placements that has made Kelsey's job a lot harder. 50 and a half, I think, is generous for that game. So yeah, let's go under in that.
Love that.
Rangers, I want to hear next Friday at the Cintas Center. Indiana's coming to town against the Muskies. It's my game of the year. The Muskies are winning.
Whoa.
They're
Whoa.
not losing to Indiana at home. Tell me you feel the same way, please.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously Liver King, Trace, Miller, Kopp, they got a pretty good team in Bloomington. There's no doubt about that. CK is well aware. But I want to go back even to the Travis Steele days. How many times before Big East play did we see Xavier lose at home? Even with Travis Steele, not much. And Sean Miller brings a completely different edge. I think Nunji's too much. He'll take care of Trace at times. I think the guard play on defense for Miller is going to be really good. This is a sneaky good team on defense. I've kind of gotten to see some of their practices this summer. They got some guys, and I don't know. I mean, I think Indiana's a really good team. I think it's going to be a great game. Either way, I don't think it's going to be decided by more than 5 points, whoever wins. But I think, I don't know. I just, at home, the Cintas Center is such a valuable asset, especially with a good coach like Travis Steele. I mean, you saw, I got some buddies at Xavier, and they said that even their tickets for the game against Montana this weekend sold out in under 10 minutes. And they're probably expecting to sell those Indiana game tickets out. And I think it said around 10 or 20 seconds. So that atmosphere is going to be electric. I like the Cintas at home. I think the Muskies will get on a roll early, and I think it's going to be a really good game going down the stretch.
Well, for sure. I think what that game comes down to, Zach and Tom, are free throws. I think I was at the game.
Oh, yeah.
Was it last night? Indiana is just not a good – I mean, obviously it was only one game, but they're not a great free throw shooting team. I'm not a big basketball guy, but I think that's what it comes down to in Friday night's game.
Yeah, Xavier's been a historically bad free throw shooting team, but at least on Monday, that's what it was. They look good for shooting free throws. They're actually pretty good. So
I think
if they can keep that up.
Yeah, I think a big part of that is too, Steele kind of ruined that mantra, because I mean, I remember the days back under Chris Mack where guys, it seemed like every one of the starting 5 were over 85%, even the big men. And I remember guys like Miles Davis going 93% from the line all year. I think Miller's kind of got that old style coaching where he puts emphasis on the little things like that. And I think he's definitely drilled that into their heads that they're going to have to make free throws down the stretch. Because TR, you saw it. How many times did Xavier lose games in the Big East gauntlet going down the stretch because they couldn't connect from the charity stripe? I mean, you're leaving. There were times last year where they left upwards of 20 points at the free throw line, and you just can't do that and win. And I think Sean Miller's well aware of that, and I don't think he's going to let it happen again this year.
Yep, I agree.
Hey, should we move into the Final Four predictions with Zhang while we got him on?
Let's go for it. Rangers, I think you should go first. Who's your Final Four?
All right, so I saw this prompt, and I kind of sat at my phone for a while last night. I think, obviously, I'm going to preface my Final Four predictions with this is completely volatile because of all the crazy things that can happen in March, but just by a strictly talent basis and what I think what the teams have got, I'm going to go North Carolina. I think it's hard to argue against Armando Bacot. They got a squad this year. he's going to be contending for player of the year. I think it's hard to bet against them going back to the Final Four. They're going to be hungry after blowing that lead in the championship. Obviously, I think we saw that kind of big win hangover in that game where they beat Duke. They end Coach K's career, and then they kind of come out flat a little bit going down the stretch against Kansas. I think the other person you got to pencil in at the top is Gonzaga. I think Timmy's just too good. He's not going to let teams mess around this year like they did last year. I think they let too many games be close for too long. I think Coach Frew and company up there figure it out. They haven't gotten to the Final Four. They've been right on the cusp of the mountaintop so many times. I think it's a matter of time before they finally break into the scene up there. And I think this might be the year with Timmy and company there. My next team is going to be Houston. Obviously, I know it's boring because they're top 3 teams right now, but I really like what Sampson's got going on. The other thing that I like about Houston is they're not going to be tested entirely. They're not going to be tested crazy hard in the AAC. And while that might not give them the edge going into March, they're going to stay healthy. And that's the thing. That was the real kicker last year, was that they had too many guys injured. I think Sampson and his crew get back to the Final Four for the first time since 2022. I think they're just a very solid team that can win games in March. And then my final, I kind of looked around. I didn't love all the options. I'll preface this by saying I wouldn't be surprised if one of the top 3 in the Big East, like Nova, Xavier, Creighton, get in there to that final spot. I think those teams are built for March, but I'm going to go Arkansas. I think the Must Bus gets it done. They got a lot of guys still. I know they lost some guys to the draft last year, but I just like what Arkansas's got building. I think they've been a good team for a while. I think it's just a matter of time before they finally piece together those wins in March, and I think they can do it this year.
Now tell me, Rangers, how much time do you have free time? Like, how much free time do you have? Because, I mean, you know just, like, everything about every program, it sounds like. I mean, my God.
Yeah, I mean, I being in college has been nice to me on that front, Will. I mean, I don't exactly occupy my days with a lot of the stuff I had to do at St. X. So I've got a lot of time. I've been watching games, looking around different spots. I'm looking to get more educated. I feel like I've got a surface level kind of knowledge of a lot of programs, but I want to kind of take a deep dive this year and really become an expert. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, something to waste your time on. And I enjoy college basketball the most.
Good man.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Now, Rang, tell me, give me your mortal lock of the week. NFL only. NFL only.
Mortal lock. I looked at this. I will say this. It would have been Bills -3. I think it was 3.5 last time I checked. But with Allen and the UCL, I'm not going to take that. It's Giants -5. If you think otherwise, you're crazy. They're playing a fraudulent team this week. Obviously, I know the Vikings are they're 7-1, or excuse me, not the Vikings. That's what I was thinking with the Bills. But the Texans, they're 1-6. I get that they covered against an Eagles team that I think is also fairly fraudulent. I think they haven't been tested. I know that they're undefeated, but I haven't seen them really put a beat down on a team just yet. But I think the Giants get it done against the Texans. I think the Lovie Smith and company for the Texans, they just need to pack it up and start looking at the draft boards, because this is not a good team that the Texans have, and I think the Giants will easily beat them by 14 plus.
I think that's a lock, Rank. I agree with you.
Love that.
Yeah.
Good
Love
pick.
that.
Good guess pick, Rangers. We love to hear it.
I think my lock of the week is going to be, I'm going to take the Lions -3 against the Bears. I think the Lions are a good team.
Oh, love that. Love
Or,
that.
wait,
Yeah,
no, sorry,
I don't hate that at all.
Lions +3. I apologize. I think the Lions are a much better team than the Bears.
I wouldn't have minded that at Lions -3, but the fact that they're +3 makes me love it even more. I think you can't go wrong with that pick.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, well, I'll stay in the same game. I have the over Lions Bears at 48.5. I said earlier, Justin Fields has been balling. The Lions, they're now all healthy on offense. They have Swift and Amon-Ra back. And the Bears defense, like I said last week, they're traded away everyone. So I think that game's going to be pretty high scoring.
Now, Mets, you're going to make an educated bet today or what?
This is a mortal lock. Like, I don't see it. I got Falcons -3 Thursday night football against the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are, I mean, we saw it last week. They're horrible. They cannot stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They have no offense. Doesn't even matter who's playing there. PJ Walker, Baker Mayfield, they don't have an offense.
Wow.
So I
He
think
turns on the prodigal son.
I know.
Seriously.
Wow. I remember the days of
It's been
listening to
hard for me
Mets
to
talk
say.
about
Anakin.
No.
Baker.
Anakin.
Mets' dog is named
Oh,
Baker.
man.
I mean,
It is. My
That
dog is
is-
named Baker. It's hard. I love the dude. I love what he did to
Wow.
Cleveland, but he's not a great quarterback. I mean, you saw that. I mean, you all the fans watching, you probably saw the video of him in practice the other day, just
Yeah.
completely missing the net by like 30 yards. Don't know what he's doing there. He's playing scout team defensive tackle right
Yeah,
now.
let me
Panthers
get
are in
you.
shambles. Like you said, they're in the same boat as the Texans. I think the Panthers are the worst team in football. They need to start looking at the draft boards, trying to be competitive next year. But I got Falcons -3 tomorrow night. I don't think it's going to be necessarily close. But yeah, that's my lock of the week.
good pick.
Also, let's hear it.
Oh, I already asked Rengers the under in the Chiefs Jags. Let me
Oh, that
tell
was
you,
yours?
Rang.
Okay.
Yeah, that's mine. There's an interesting statistic that's been rolling around on Twitter. Whenever the spread is greater than 9 points and the spread of this game's 10,
Under always hits.
the under hits 60% of the time
Frankie
because
Corral,
either
that's
Love
smart.
that.
either A, the team that's favored by 10 blows them out early, and then by the second half, like we see it in the Bengals game, like
Yep.
blow them out first half, then you just foot off the gas pedal second half, or the other team who's not favored just plays unbelievable defense all game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Under.
I like it.
Yeah.
Like
You know what's awesome about unders? I always get hate when I take unders. You're winning right off the bat with the under. You're
That is
winning.
true.
You're always winning
It's
until
your,
you're not.
it's your bet to lose with the under.
It is.
Me personally, if I was a gambling man, I don't think I could ever take an under. I think it's just ruining the fun of the game. Who wants to watch the Chiefs Jags go under?
No one.
That is
Me.
true.
I wanna
Yeah,
see-
no one.
Me.
I want to see a Pat
Will-
Mahomes.
yeah, Will
Trevor
wants to
Lawrence.
see it.
I would. I'd enjoy
I hope
that.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, I hope that bet hits for your sake. But I hate betting the unders because it's just like you're forcing yourself to not watch a good football game or not a very fun game to watch because not a lot of points are being scored.
You're
But
rooting for defense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Zhang, I think the pod's kind of running out of time soon.
Yeah,
so I think
Rang,
I feel like this was a
unbelievable
great
stuff out of you.
episode. Thank you so
Great,
much for coming
yeah.
on the show.
Great
Also,
first
appreciate
guest.
Rang.
Great first guest.
Shout out
Appreciate you guys having me on.
Shout
Of
out
course.
Zach Rengers' new podcast. We're talking about a lot of the college basketball side of the world. Was it Fighting Nylon? Finding Nylon?
Finding Nylon. Yeah, we're gonna be it's me, couple bombers, Carson Huber, Cole Kendall, and Matt Niehaus. We're just gonna be some guys talking hoops. That's
Better
we're
than that.
yeah, I know. I love talking hoops. We're
Love that.
me and TR were talking about we gotta have some type of
Look,
cross pod
Yeah.
going on sometime. So
Bracket
Yep,
challenge. Bracket
Well,
That'd be
challenge.
dirty.
There
That
it
would be
is.
dirty.
There it
there
is.
we go.
That'd
Really
be
test
fun.
you guys out.
Yeah, yeah, I love that.
good.
All right,
Zhang,
guys.
we
Just
really
stay,
appreciate you.
yeah, stay tuned to Rangers. Thank you for coming on. Great first guest.
Appreciate it,
Love you,
guys. See ya.
Rang. Love
See you guys
Rang.
next week.
I mean, what a guy. Just
What
Seriously.
what a great interview. I
what
mean,
a character.
he speaks so well.
He does.
So
That's
Oh,
all.
he
He does. My God, he knows how to just talk. Like just
Oh, I can't wait to watch Sunday Night Football in 5 or 6 years, and I'm hearing Zach Ranger's voice on that. That's unreal.
He's a
No,
very,
years ago.
very good
Years ago.
speaker. But yeah, what else we got?
think we hit everything now.
I think we hit it.
I think we're all good.
Should we
Good
hit
episode,
a next possible little special guest?
I'm
I
getting
think-
texts. I'm getting
I think-
texts.
I think we should keep it in quiet for now. And
Right.
give it a little suspense
Suspense.
there.
Let's just say
I don't know.
let's
What
just
do you
say
think?
Sparty up. Sparty up.
All right, go green.
Go
Go
green.
green. Go
Go
white.
green, go white. You never know. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Stay tuned. Follow us on social media, and thank you for listening.
Also,
you.
hey, share the podcast. Share it with your
Yeah,
friends.
share
Do this
it.
thing.
Share
Let's
it.
get it going. We'll see you guys.
See ya.
See you next week.